In the 1974 film The Great Gatsby, Daisy Buchanan, played by actress Mia Farrow, throws a pile of dress shirts into the air and buries her face in broadcloth, Oxford cloth, and pinstripe shirts and says, "I've never seen such beautiful shirts before." Then she bursts into tears. We assume something else is going on here. Later, when she just comes out with it and says, "Rich girls don't marry poor boys," it's one of those moments of brutal truth and honesty that I don't always associate with F. Scott Fitzgerald or The Great Gatsby. Welcome to Conservative Coffee Hour. I'm Stanley Smith. Each week, we look at candidates and important issues and how these affect our lives and the political landscape. I like to think we're in the ideas business, but since we're also in primary season, it seems like some of those truths and ideas that we're looking for seem to get lost because something else is going on. And that something else is that the GOP candidates are trying to win at all costs. Last week, Anthony Williams said that the beauty of the US is that it's always been a place where we can be our best. This is a lovely message and a very positive message. He couples that with more sobering themes of violence as a pandemic and the need for reparations and civility in this country. Some people exited the call at the mention of reparations. We might assume the topic of reparations is a topic that resonates with Black voters, but I'm not sure that we know that. Also, Mr. Williams doesn't seem like the kind of person who would offer something just as a vehicle for pandering votes. We have anecdotal information that the topic of reparations does not resonate with white voters, myself included, and from those who exited the call, that seems to be the case. But maybe like Daisy Buchanan in The Great Gatsby, someone just needs to blurt out, Black people don't vote for Republicans. Probably more important than the topic of reparations was the topic of violence as a pandemic in this country, because it truly affects everyone in this country. Mr. Williams said violence has been monetized. That's a startling notion that violence persists because it's a moneymaker. A recent Illinois Family Institute survey shows that all GOP candidates oppose pending legislation being advanced by Governor Pritzker and Senator Tammy Duckworth. These include having sex education in kindergarten, having tampons in boys' bathrooms, replacing gender-specific words such as mother, she, and her, and giving convicted felons the right to vote. The fact that GOP candidates all oppose these proposals shows we certainly have more in common than not. I attended a Chicago Humanities Festival presentation at the Spertus Museum of Hebrew Studies this week. The topic was the case for classical liberalism by Francis Fukuyama. He said classical liberalism emerged in the 16th century as a counter to the Reformation and a time of religious wars and intolerance. Classical liberalism was created as a philosophy to protect individual rights and the rights of nations, to protect people from intolerance. He said, whenever there's intolerance, there's a danger of tyranny. Mr. Yokoyama said, although liberals may have indeed become more intolerant over time, at least they're not as intolerant as Republicans. Mr. Yokoyama said that politics is downstream of culture, and culture is downstream of personal mores. I like to complete this thought by adding that personal mores are downstream of God, but there was no mention of God in the presentation. I believe that's because our personal mores have been monetized by culture, and culture has been manipulated by politics. As I reflected on the topic of reparations, I pondered that though there's a difference between my personal prejudice and biases and the bias against ideas themselves. One person on the call suggested Anthony drop the topic of reparation because it's bad for business. But why would we want to encourage anyone to drop a topic that they're truly passionate about? Where's the freedom in that? The freedom of ideas. And why does everything need to be about what's good for business? Is the answer always the need for more and more money? And are reparations in the form of money to every social ill, always the answer. I believe Mr. Williams would agree with me. Return no one evil for evil. So is returning someone money for money, is that a form of evil? In the novel, The Great Gatsby, the narrator, Nick Carraway, says people like Daisy and Nick Buchanan lived dangerous lives, oblivious to the harm they cause to others because they're insulated by their wealth and by their money. So the next time someone tells you Black people don't vote for Republicans, take a look and see what kind of devastation and damage they're leaving in their wake. And reparations, well, maybe you can offer someone some loving kindness to those around you today, no matter what color they happen to be, and see if you can do that without bursting into tears or blurting out just another tired epitaph. It's a novel idea. If you would like to join us at Conservative Coffee Hour, I will include my email in the description of this video. Conservative Coffee Hour is every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time on Zoom, and I'll be happy to send you an invitation, and I look forward to seeing you very, very soon.